This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Boom.
I have a number of things that I have to get to, including Greg Cody just enraged by something that just happened on his phone. And it's not what Stugotz was saying that Greg Cody was complaining about. This part is lower on the list. Stugotz was just saying that Greg Cody is being enraged by just his phone giving him notifications. Like, he doesn't want any more notifications from his phone. He wants his phone to stop notifying him. But he is mad because something happened with the Venmo fine bucket that he was not expecting, and we'll get to that in a second. Before we do that, however, and before we get to Chris Cody and find out how much juice he has squeezed, because it doesn't seem like he's made very much juice back there, I am going to read a story right now that I could not have imagined, I'm going to say even 4 years ago, as something that is just simply normal now around college sports, okay? This is what I'm about to read to you. Andy Slater here locally does an exceptional job of reporting local news. And apparently, Miami quarterback Carson Beck and Hannah Cavender had three the basketball star, one of the Cavender sisters, they had 3 vehicles stolen overnight in South Florida, according to Andy Slater. And this is the sentence that really gets me. It's just a great sentence. Cavender's SUV was found, but Beck's Mercedes and Lamborghini remain missing. It used to be that you could get a quarterback with one car. It would cost one good car, and then everybody would be outraged, and we'd be offering, Eric Dickerson an oil well to go to SMU. But I've never seen it before be a Mercedes and a Lamborghini for the cost of a college quarterback.
Don't look now at Stugotz's garage, okay? Because there might be a Mercedes and a Lambo in there. But also, while you're on the topic of Miami women's basketball, they're hosting the #1 Notre Dame Fighting Irish tonight at the Watsco Center. I will be there.
Nice.
But don't look now.
All right.
I have been Venmo fined by Stugotz because I was calling it Don't Look Up the previous segment.
The Adam McKay movie, different thing.
Yeah.
It's a difficult game. It's hard to understand, and I ruined it.
Did you pay the fine?
I have not yet paid the fine, but it is why I was talking to Greg Cody about the Venmo fine bucket. I will pay the fine right now. But, Greg, why are you mad at the Venmo fine bucket? What are you mad about?
Okay, I'm new to Venmo, and I absolutely love the app. It makes paying anyone super convenient. But being new to Venmo, I was shocked that one of the aspects of Venmo is that complete strangers can ask you for money. And so I get this Venmo request for $20 from a guy who I don't know, who says book fan.
That's a heady play.
As if he just read, the Pride of a Lion book, or perhaps the Back in My Day book, either of my 2 recent books. But I didn't know that was a thing. That somebody could just say, hey, what am I, a GoFundMe page all of a sudden?
Greg, the flip
Do I
side
look
of
like
that,
an ATM machine?
People can just give you money. Like, sometimes people just give me money, and they'll say, like, thanks for putting up with David Samson, and they'll give me, like, $10.
Wow.
ATM machine is redundant. I learned that a few years ago at Le Batard Show.
Right. My bad.
Did you know that ATM machine was redundant?
Yeah.
I have just paid the $1 fine, but you were a lot angrier before than you were just then. You were pissed off, and you were. Greg Cody did not want what he thinks of as a panhandler interrupting his Venmo secret space. He
My
felt
Venmo
invaded.
experience.
He felt
Yes.
violated. The request. Now he can ignore the request.
Of course he can.
But he felt a violation in the request even being allowed to be made.
It surprised me. I was not warned of it. And now that I know about it, I don't object to it because I can just not pay it if I want. But
you were objecting to it.
Request him back. Like, get him back.
Yes.
Actually, you pay me.
You pay me $20.
Right.
for writing a book.
Yes.
You
I'm
liked.
going to do that.
I entertain you so much with my books. You pay me more.
I'm going to ask him for $21. What do you think of that?
Would it be proper to call it an AT machine?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah?
Chris, what are you eating now over the course? You are eating to celebrate Canada-U.S. time. This is a giant game, correct?
Yeah,
It's just,
baby.
It's the biggest game that I can remember in hockey outside of the final game that we had a couple months ago. But no, I'm eating poutine, Dan.
What?
I'm eating poutine.
What do you mean?
It's just good.
It is.
I know the first couple I like
is.
was
It's
doing
so
a thing.
good.
I was like,
It's
I
so
realized
good.
that with this bit today, I could just order food, and I'm like, all right, so let me get some pancakes.
They know what they're doing with fries.
Let me get
they
some
do.
bacon, and then I'm like, what can I do for the third thing? You know what? Just give me some poutine. Give me the real stuff.
Yeah.
That defeats what
Oh.
you were trying to be.
Yeah, but it's
Red,
good,
white,
Dan.
and blue, man.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, it's a heart
It's
attack on a
perfection.
fork.
It's perfection. The gravy, the cheese curds, the fries. My God, pal.
But you were trying to be on behalf of America. You were eating pancakes
Well, that was
didn't
earlier.
have any maple
This-
syrup on them.
This is just delicious. Yeah, so this one I don't have anything really for you. Just
so, but your allegiance
USA.
is
You just like poutine.
So your allegiances to your country, to your team, to your sport.
they stop here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stop with gravy
Oh my
and
God.
fried cheese.
Tony, you want a bite?
No, I'm good, buddy.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you love poutine?
Hell yeah.
Is that something that everybody loves? Is that universally? Do you make that, Greg? Like, I don't. Is this the food that you most associate with Canada above all others?
I have eaten it in my life on a trip to Montreal at a meat place called Ben's. It's super caloric, super rich.
Oh, thank you. You are saying good words.
You eat 3 spoonfuls of it and you're like full. It's too much for me. Yeah, it combines like 3 or 4 gravy and cheese and.
Did you guys
fries.
answer my question about whether this is the food
It
that
is.
Canada is associated
Yes.
with above all other
Yeah.
foods? I don't associate Canada with food.
It's a national dish of Canada.
I
I go
don't.
syrup one. It's always syrup.
You guys, I don't associate Canada with good cuisine. London famously has
Canada
bad
has
food.
great food, amazing food. Toronto is a great food city. Yes.
But I'm with Dan. You don't like. I don't associate.
I don't
that,
think
though.
food when I think Canada.
I
I
don't
think
either.
hockey. I mean,
And so tonight we have a giant game that is an exhibition, and Roy and Chris Cody are going to be how patriotic about wrapping themselves in the flag and hoping the Kachucks kick the poutine out of those crybabies from Canada.
and don't get hurt.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
be super.
burp the out of them.
I'm gonna be super patriotic from the Nicki Glazer show.
Okay.
It
You're
sucks.
not even
the
watching
timing of
it?
this. Like, I tried to get out of it. My wife bought Nicki Glazer tickets months ago, and I'm just like, I couldn't want to go less because I want to watch this game, and I tried already. You ever do that thing where you put a little feeler out for getting out of something, and you just feel the temperature?
Yes.
And you're like,
it's
okay,
usually very hot.
this is not something I'm getting out of, so I'm just gonna have to eat it. And this is a comedy show. If it was a concert, I could just watch it on my phone the whole time. These comedy shows, they don't like your phones out, so now I am literally out of
I
luck.
hope she does crowd work and roasts you.
I mean, and I think our seats are good, so it's not like I can hide in the back. It's just I'm very disappointed.
Is there
I can't
is
watch
there
this game.
anybody who has had a bigger star turn in comedy over the last year than Nicki Glazer? Because she's been grinding for a long time. So for her, and everyone respects how great she is, but what she has done on these award shows, the roast, and the way she's killed it with, I'm told like 40 writers because of the size of the opportunities that she has crushed, difficult opportunities. Has anybody in comedy had a better, Shane Gillis, I guess, has had a better year than
Hinchcliffe, if
Tony-
just in terms of being known, it might be for not the best reasons, but Hinchcliffe has gotten big really quick.
But didn't he come with a bit of polarization, even in the world of comedy, that makes it so he's less universally applauded than Nicki Glazer?
I think that's putting it lightly.
Yes, no, it's
They're also different kinds of comedians, right? Like Tony's not a stand-up guy as you would say Nicki would be.
no, he's a roaster.
He's
but
more of
she's
a roaster. And
look.
like
They both killed the first roast, but Nicki Glazer parlayed it into an award show, and Hinchcliffe he parlayed it into the RNC. And all of the controversy that came with. He has done this less artfully than she has, like graduated from the roast to whatever it is to be respected by all the other comedians because they're like, wow, universally, the two things that she's done, she's crushed by the consensus of every comedian watching.
I saw Nicki Glazer at the Miami Improv like 8 years ago, so she has been going at this a long time.
I wanted to ask you guys something that we didn't cover today, and I'm just curious if times have changed in a way that I'm not totally understanding, because a moment went viral here where Malik Beasley of the Detroit Pistons was just finishing doing a streaming hit with Neon, who's got his own set of issues. And this, at the end, is what happened, and people are reacting to it as if it's both funny, but also gotcha when I thought we were past the gotcha on marijuana and the NBA. Let's watch this.
I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all. Peace.
Sick.
Let me end it.
Spark that up. I'm ready to get high now. Oh,
So he just wanted to spark up and didn't know he was still on camera. And why is that? Like, I thought everyone understood that Kevin Durant is scoring 30 a game in a cloud of marijuana smoke, doing marijuana, smoking marijuana during timeout huddles.
There's one thing, it's one thing to know it, Dan. It's another thing, and it's totally separate to actually see it. People don't want to be seen smoking pot. They don't care if you know it. They just don't want you to see them do it.
This is just, maybe I'm showing myself here, but this is just, let's go get a beer. Like, what, isn't that like, this is no different than, hey, let's go get a drink after work. Like, what are we doing here? This is a nothing story.
Yeah, hasn't it been pretty much decriminalized across the country?
Oh, but
Or am
I think
wrong?
there's plenty of moralizing about. Look, I don't think you, Chris, and Mike know how you sound to a certain segment of audience that hears you just doing drugs all the time, and it's like that's not right to be just doing gummies all the time. Certain segment of audience is going to find that immoral, whether it's been decriminalized or not. That you're just constantly baked.
It's not legal here.
I mean,
Not before work.
I have no proof whatsoever that many people presently on television aren't high on gummies when Mad Dog's allowed to tell you how much gummy consumption he's doing while betting $10,000 a game and being close to 70 years old.
Yeah, but he earned it, Dan.
Right.
If somebody earned it, his
Yes.
Mad Dog.
Do whatever you want.
Do you not suspect that some of the media members that you're presently watching on television and radio are presently high?
I'm looking at him right now, actually.
Hey!
Darren Rovell and David Samson are going to have a business off.
Nerd off.
Something that can only be liked, only be likable if you are on copious amounts of drugs. Darren Rovell, David Samson, business off. Next. David Samson is here. He's the host of Nothing Personal. He has made people a little bit upset because he's brash and he will tell you how good he is at things. So when we were talking sports business the other day, he said he was the most famous and credible of the sports business insiders. And he also said he's just more generally famous than Darren Rovell, correct? Those are both claims. Look at him. David Samson is laughing right now, but he did say both of those things,
He
right?
said both of those things right after he put himself into the Marlins Hall of Fame. Yes,
Either before or after, but yes, it was a very self-involved.
Simultaneous.
Okay, all right. So what is, just so that we're clear, what is your contention here before we test some of this stuff? Because we here at Meadowlark Media have spent a great deal of money flying Darren Rovell in first class to do a business off with you, and we're going to have some sort of competition in moments as soon as it is that we get him here from the airport. But what is the nature of your disagreement?
That's just so spot on that you would actually allocate resources to prove something that is so obvious. Remember, you're stuck with people surrounding you who have this view of me that's based on a trade, that's based on one thing that happened so many years ago that people can't remember. You got Billy upset and Mike, I've ruined his life. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, the majority of people don't care about that. And Darren Rovell is funny, sort of. And whether or not he has, I think Stu told me 1.9 million Twitter followers. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
How many of those are in the United States of America? Let's start with
What
that.
does that mean?
What?
What does that mean? What difference
Oh,
is
I'm
that?
sorry.
What is
You're
that?
right. Nobody buys followers. I'm wrong. You're totally
Whoa.
right. It doesn't exist.
Whoa.
Everyone's Twitter following is real.
All right. Look, there is our Darren Rovell cam. All right. He is outside.
Wow.
He is let him in right now. Look at him. He's enraged. Oh my God.
Furious.
He is funny, sort of, says, oh my God, he's coming in aggressive.
Yeah.
Rovell.
That is Darren.
Okay.
You have
Rovell's
Darren
here?
in the studio.
Yes, it's him.
There is
David.
nothing that hurts me more than to say I bought followers. You're taking away all my work.
Darren, is that you?
Yes, it's not an avatar. It's not AI. It's me.
Well, it's hard to know what's you and what's not you and your social media presence.
Is that
but it
a
nice
joke
to see
about
you.
my age?
No, we're the same age. We're the same demographic. We're the same.
I
everything.
don't participate in triathlons, so I
Darren,
might not
all
be
I
as good
said-
shape as you.
And I'm very sorry that you had to be flown in for this. It's so funny. And I assume that it was coach, even though Dan said first class. That would
No,
not
it was
track.
first class. I was in 1A.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why are you
You're
accusing
too
him of
big.
being funny, sort of, and buying followers? Why are you doing that? We're welcoming him in to have a business off with you, and you're greeting him by way of insult.
By the way, what's behind you, that hotel? Do you think that's a collectible? Do you think that's something that has value? What is that hotel?
The motel behind you, David?
Yeah, that was a Hanukkah present for my daughter Kira from Amazon because I love Schitt's Creek. So no, there is no
Great
value
show.
to that
Good
except my personal attachment to it and me trying to be a better father by putting it on set.
God. Are you going to attack my fatherhood next?
I'm not impugning anything other than you're not as well recognized as I am. If you put our faces next to each other and said who's who, people would be able to identify me and not you.
Huh.
Why don't we post that? Where should we post that to let the world decide? It seems like we should let the world decide. Where does that go? It won't go on my Twitter feed because they'll accuse me of being biased, but where should that go? Is that on the Le Batard page? And
a vote on who it is that's more credible, more
you're
famous?
on Le Batard every day, and I'll take that advantage that more people will know me, unless it's rigged. And, I don't know how we'll figure that out, but...
If you do
Well,
that,
I think we can actually find someone independent. Stu Gatz could identify people in his circle, in his life, who are independent.
Okay.
I don't think Stu Gatz and independence has ever been in the same sentence. I'm sorry.
I wish it would.
I should say that he's an Emmy-winning sports business analyst. He's worked for ESPN, CNBC, and the Action Network, and he's now the founder of Collect Media. Darren Rovell, what are you smiling about, Stu Gatz?
I'm just laughing at Darren. I'm waiting for something funny to come out of his mouth.
Okay, well, he's funny, sort of, according to David Samson. But, Darren, how would you put your credentials up against David's? And, David, why are you saying that you are more credible and more famous than Darren Rovell?
Well, the credible part is just because there's not many voices out in the atmosphere that have the business experience that I've had, and I'm willing to talk about it in an honest way. That's what Nothing Personal is. That's what my time is with you on the show. And I don't know that there's a peer that can do it only because they haven't actually done it. And in terms of being recognized, I think Survivor plays a part in that. I think the Marlins play a part. You play a part in that, Dan, obviously, and Stu Gatz. So I think all in, when you forget the 1.9 million Twitter followers, which I'm happy to talk about at any time, Darren, how that number happens and the work you did to get that, because obviously we do it wrong at the Le Batard show. But that said, I think it's pretty much unanimous that no one would recognize Darren for being a business person. He's a reporter who did well and now is the founder of a company that I have great respect for, but it's not like being the founder of Metalark.
You're putting me in a tough position here. Listen, I respect everything you do. I respect you as the longtime Marlins president. I actually do love your show and do listen to it. But there is no way that you are more recognized than me.
Is this?
I don't know why you're talking in that voice.
It's helping. I mean,
it is helping.
Yes.
I'm trying to stay calm.
You put him in a tough spot, David.
Yeah.
I did put it. Well,
Dramatic
David
effect.
Samson put him in a tough spot. I didn't put him in a tough spot. We flew him in. I guess I put him in a tough spot.
You did, yeah.
Is this a business off? Is it a respect off?
It's a jerk off.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's a lot of things this is, and that's not one of them.
You're both being jerks to each other. It's a jerk off.
It is a jerk off.
Yeah.
That was not part of the contract with the airline. That's not what we were going to call this.
We're going to do a memorabilia off in a second because they're
That's
both
lame.
they're both collectors.
No, what was lame when they did the respect off 5 minutes ago. That was lame. No one wants to hear how much you guys respect each other.
That's true. It's true.
And
It's the worst part of the segment.
In David's defense, Darren did walk in and he said, "Hey, I'm Darren Rovell." I mean,
I did.
David wouldn't have to say that around here.
Right.
Just
And,
so you,
Well,
and
more
Stu Gatz
famous-
said, "I know who you are."
right. Yes. Well, I did say that.
Yeah, you did.
But I do.
Does
Right.
anyone side with David Samson on this? I thought the rest of us were in agreement that Darren Rovell is indeed more famous and more famous as a business credible person in sports than David is. It doesn't mean that he's actually more credible, but he's got the reputation of that's more pervasive. I thought we all agreed on that.
We did.
Yeah, we all agree.
Boy, Dan, you really got the room cooking on that one.
Dan, you're putting us in a really tough position.
Really
here.
tough spot.
Darren's
really,
here.
It's going to be tough for us.
The problem is we sort of all work for David now, so no one wants to say what they're thinking.
I mean, he's negotiating against me.
It's really unclear his role, so we have to be careful with
I'm pretty
what
sure
we say.
he runs my life.
Listen, nothing
now.
personal.
I would like to give everyone free reign, and I will say to everyone that any thought I have toward each of you is not in any way correlated to how you answer the question. But you're in the media world, you're in the sports media world. Are you telling me that when it comes to sports business, you would rather hear now forget personalities, forget your view of me outside of it, but you'd rather hear what Darren Rovell has to say about a sports business topic versus what I have to say about it?
That's not true of me. Obviously, Meadowlark is paying you to do it, and so we value
we can't
that.
afford Rovell.
And
that's not exactly accurate.
Really?
But good one.
Afford him?
Name your price.
Oh,
Rovell.
I just think that Darren's rate is way lower than my rate.
Whoa.
Wow.
Interesting.
Oh my!
How?
So is Darren our boss now?
what is the accusation of bought followers?
Is there going to be a personnel change here?
It seems
I have
like
no idea.
what's going on.
I would much rather negotiate with you, Darren. I got to be honest.
The audience should know that Darren Rovell has been doing this for a very long time. How long have you been doing it?
I started at ESPN when I was 21 in June of 2000.
With the largest aspiration being, what's that going to look like at the very height of my greatest success?
Yeah, it was hard when I started there, and I was like, wow, I'm here already. I spent 13 years at ESPN and then went to CNBC, which was like going from like the nerd at the business, the nerd at the sports network to the cool guy at the business network. And but I love sports business. I've loved how it's evolved. I've loved how how David's been involved in this, how you talk to team presidents and CEOs, and people used to. I mean, Dan, if you think about the old ages of radio station when people used to call up and didn't know anything about anything, and because they didn't know about their owner's capacity to spend, they just weren't smart. They didn't sound smart, and I think the fan wants to be smarter now. So that has helped the development of sports business.
You view yourself as a pioneer in this particular genre, right? That you analyzed money so that David Samson could soar and into the skies.
Well, he would still have his position, but I would say that, yes, I was the first ever national sports business reporter. Before there were concrete beat people, something was going up in Miami, they'd take the guy who's in the community or the political and move him over to sports for a second, but there wasn't anyone nationally covering it.
In terms of things, though, that you take pride in, he can insult you no greater than saying that your Twitter followers are bought, right? Because one of the things that I have found you to be most publicly proud of is how hard you worked to establish that particular following.
I mean, listen, in the beginning, it was very tough on Twitter. When I was at CNBC, they would say, hey, we pay you. We don't want you to break news on that. And everyone would say, oh, no one wants to know what someone's eating for lunch.
Right.
And so in the beginning, there was a lot of dismissing. And a lot of that was by 2010. I was probably maybe the first or second journalist on Twitter. By 2010, Twitter had recommendations on who to follow. So if you click sports, I was in the top 25. And that led to the growth that it did. But I have never bought a follower, and I have never not tweeted something out of my account. All 250,000 tweets have been pushed by me.
All right. Is it fair to say you blazed a path? There is no David Samson if not for Darren Rovell.
No. Because the teams, I'm not.
That's absurd.
No,
Well,
the team side would always
That's
exist.
literally absurd.
My show, my questions. Thank you.
No, the team side would always exist, but maybe there would not be interest in nothing personal. And I have nothing personal on this, but there'd be not the same amount of interest in nothing personal if it wasn't for me.
So thank you, David.
David.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you to Darren?
David,
No, I'm saying thank you.
What's the face you're making, David?
Well,
He
he's
can't
annoying.
believe it.
You have to understand what he's saying. He in June of 2000 at ESPN as a 21-year-old, and I don't disrespect the age, but what you are doing is reporting on news. What I'm doing is making news.
Oh, that's a bar. That's a bar.
And that's a big difference. And what I do now is talk about the news that I made.
You are telling your experiences. I am telling the experiences of 250 presidents. So knowing that, I would say just because you have personal lived experiences doesn't mean that I don't have credibility having talked to more people about the job in the same job that you have.
But they're telling you what they want you to hear, what they want you to know.
Well, only if I'm not a real reporter. If I'm a real reporter, I know things and I learn things. I don't just report what people tell me. I am knowing what else is going on behind the scenes. That's what a reporter does. A reporter doesn't just turn on the microphone and then transcribe it. I'm actually learning what's happening behind the scenes. So like when LeBron is about to sign with Reebok and someone's telling me he's going to sign with Reebok, I have to figure out he's going to sign with Nike. And I can't report the Reebok part. So I think you're taking away the complexities of reporting.
No, no, I'm not actually. It's a hugely important job, and we're learning that now in today's world, where there is a rush toward bad reporting.
Do you want it to be called the Gulf of Samson? Sorry.
No.
A Gulf of America joke. Jessica, what do you have there?
I was just going to say, can we put on the poll, can you say that was a bar when you're in the middle of a jerk-off between Rovell and David Samson? Is that something you can say? I would vote no on that.
That's a bar. I mean, the argument is kind of like Antonio Brown is more credible than Ernie Johnson because he played the game.
That's a great example. That's a great analogy. He played the game. He saw it with his own eyes, and no coach would ever be more credible than a player.
Jeff Passan is a great example of someone who has the view that he's run a team. Scott Boras has the same view. And they report, they get scoops. Jeff Passan breaks news all the time. He's the breaking news guy. That means he's got connections. It means he's got people who talk to him, who give him information, whether it's from the union or the league. And the information's given purposefully, mostly, sometimes due to relationships. But at the end of the day, that doesn't give him any credibility as to why the decision was made or what's really going on.
You're totally taking what you need to spend a couple days at a journalism school. You're totally taking now Passan and Schefter, and not to rail on them, but the guys who are breaking news and breaking to Twitter, and normally they're right. But the idea of that there's no analysis, that there's no reporting, that there's nothing behind the scenes that happens other than what people tell me, that's not a respect for journalism.
I'm not impugning you as a journalist.
No, you're impugning journalism overall.
No, that's absolutely wrong. I'm merely telling you that I'm not a journalist. The question was not, Dan, you may have set this up.
I am much more credible than you, having talked
credible with what, Darren?
Information. I am
Yes.
more credible with
Game over.
information.
Yes.
Okay, so what are you arguing in terms of credibility?
The ability to analyze and teach and educate things that are going on in the world of sports business.
So over time, I have learned. You're basically saying I have learned nothing about business as I've reported on it.
I didn't say that at all.
Yes, you did, because you said I'm just
you
a
and
journalist.
I started, we're different ages. We've been in the business world a different amount of time. You are very good at what you do. Again, not the question. We were brought here today. You were flown in, which blows my mind, given meetings I've been having. But let's just pretend that it was a smart move. But the question was...
It was cheaper. It was at 6 a.m. from Newark, so...
The early flights are the cheaper ones.
Connecting or direct?
Yeah. I was at the airport at 4:53.
It was direct.
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't even need to be there 67 minutes in advance if you have clear and you're not checking a bag.
But I have yet to miss a flight, and that's a record that I don't want to miss.
In your whole life?
In my whole life.
I haven't either.
That's so impressive.
Oh. You guys
I've never
fly
missed a
private.
flight.
Oh, we're
You
finding
can't
some
miss-
common ground
yeah.
finally.
Two
They
peas
both
in a
never
pod.
missed a flight.
I would imagine, I can't imagine the type of person who would miss a flight, except if I were to imagine one, it would be Dan.
Yep.
I thought this was a memorabilia off.
Yeah, I'm
Well, we're
confused
gonna
as
do
well.
it in a second.
That's the final stage. So right now, Samson is winning slightly, I think,
He
according
is?
to the judge. It's just according to, but we still have the memorabilia stage.
And
so
it's
we'll
not
see.
a respect off. It's not a memorabilia off. It's not a credibility off.
It's an off.
Jerk off.
It is a jerk.
We
wanted
need a
to
logo
say it.
for that. Can we get
yes,
can we
let's
get
do
No.
that.
Yeah,
No.
Lewis, get on it.
That is a really dreadful idea from everybody involved. Let's do what it is that you've brought us here today. And David is a very proud collector of a number of different things. Without knowing what Rovell's collection is, David, surely you wouldn't hypothesize that your collection is better than his, would you?
No, I would not.
Oh,
I would suggest that I have a collection that my kids won't throw away when I croak, but I do not have the type of things that Darren has.
Okay, that's slightly disappointing. I was hoping for him to say he did, so that I could accuse him of having Loria art.
All right, let's see what it is that David has there that he can show us that is a memorabilia collectible item that you're proud of.
It's not where my memorabilia
That
is.
should be where some of your memorabilia is.
But what is the thing that you have that you are proudest of, David?
Show him
Let's
the
do that.
UPS box,
Right.
David.
It's not where I am right now.
It's
The
a
thing
FedEx.
that
What is it?
It's
Tell
a
me.
FedEx box, David. You have to
What
correct
is
it
it
so that
from
Billy-
Castaway?
Yes. And David, you can't let Billy do that.
Do what? I'm helping. I'm the only one offering help here.
The UPS box is what he said. Yes, he's got the FedEx box from Castaway.
He does.
It is true.
He does have it, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's
pretty
multiple,
good.
but that's a pretty good one.
Multiple.
Bowie's
wow.
glasses, I think.
Yeah.
No, not Bowie. Darren, I also have from Castaway the pocket watch with Helen, the picture of Helen Hunt.
That's great.
The watch.
I keep
The
getting
Wilson
offers for that.
volleyballs are in the $100,000 to $200,000 range. There's many of them, but that's a tough one. If you have
Yeah,
the Wilson.
I don't have an actual Wilson volleyball. I instead went with those things from Castaway. I've got a bunch of sports memorabilia that I enjoy that I have never marked to market. It doesn't matter to me at this moment. And I would say the most important piece of memorabilia I have is the jersey from the last win that Jose Fernandez had in his
that's
life.
cool. That's cool.
The game-worn
Way to
jersey
send it in
that was
on a
never
downer
washed.
on
That's
me.
right.
I mean, that
a
is
little
just...
darkness and death right at the end.
Darren,
Well,
don't you have like Martin Luther King rookie cards or something?
No, that's just I have a lot of Martin Luther King stuff, but people don't like that because I'm a white man collecting it.
It's a big month.
Well,
for you.
Darren, to be fair, what you tend to do on Martin Luther King Day is you tend
Put it
to
out.
post
Yeah,
the memorabilia
I
that you
do.
have of
I
Martin
do.
Luther King.
I do, and there should be nothing wrong with that.
It just seems like an unusual flex on Martin Luther King
Can he
Day.
respect him or not, David?
Well,
That's not a
I would
big
think
list.
that Martin Luther King would want me to flex him on Martin Luther King Day.
Yep.
I mean, it's
No,
the day
I think
for
he'd
him.
want you to flex him on every other day. You have 364
All right, let's not get lost
Stay
in the
strong,
weeds
Darren.
on
You're
this
coming
one.
Okay,
back.
I
You're
brought
coming back.
I brought some things to flex. So
What do you
All
have?
right,
what
what
do
do
you
you got?
have? What do
Okay.
you have? Oh, is that a pill box? That is a.
It's not a pill box.
What is that?
It's well, look at it. He's handing it to you.
I'm handing it to you.
Yes. Read
Well,
it. Read
It's
the
a
name
pill
on
bottle that he's been handed.
it. It's a bottle.
All
Prescription.
right. Wow.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
Take 1 tablet 1 hour prior to sex may increase to 2 tablets daily maximum. That is Viagra.
that is from the collection of Crystal Hefner. I bought it from her estate.
Wow.
Did you take one before the jerk off?
No, no.
That's pretty good. though.
Hey, I'm only 46. So
Would it be worth or less, more or less, if it had an actual pill in it versus being empty?
I was actually thinking about putting blue Jelly Bellies in there, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
Oh, David would have eaten
Aaron, what
that.
is the value of that?
So you want to guess how much I paid for it?
$20,000.
$5,500.
I paid $8,000.
Wow. Who said 20?
And what's it worth? What do you imagine it's worth?
I think I could probably sell it for 25 grand.
Would you?
I think I've actually had it long enough, so if there's a listener who wants to offer me 25 grand, I'll sell it.
So how often do you choose poorly there, where instead of 3 times the return, you get crushed on the return because you've made a bad?
Usually never. Never.
See, that's ridiculous, Darren.
Now you want me to tell you why? Why? Because I know things that other people don't know. So let's talk about.
go.
Let's get going here. All right.
Okay.
So I knew that in that bottom right corner, or however you're looking at it, I knew that was the best George Washington signature in the world.
What?
Okay? It was from 1799. And the best George Washington this cost me $23,000, okay? Now, the worst George Washington's $9,000. The best is $23,000. When the card people and the movie people get into collecting historical autographs, and in 2026 is the big year, the 250th anniversary of America, that widening is going to happen like it happens in cards. PSA 1 Jordan rookie, $1,500. PSA 10, $180,000. So this will be worth over $100,000 in the next 4 years. So I'm predicting markets. It's an arbitrage game. When I'm doing memorabilia, it's fish in a barrel. I know something that you don't. So I know that. Hold on.
How does that get graded a 9 with all the cracks in the middle of it, Darren?
So impressive.
The auto is a 9. I wouldn't say the envelope is a 9.
Okay, good.
All right, so this is an example right here. So this is a Jimi Hendrix ticket. Wow. Clark University in 1968.
I went there.
He went to Clark University, not when
BMOC, Clark University, Worcester,
Not in
Mass.
68.
Not when Jimi Hendrix
in
was there.
Worcester. Okay, ready for this? So I happen to know when this goes up.
Atwood
that
Hall.
This is the first time that Jimi Hendrix played the national anthem. That was famous a year later in Woodstock. I buy this for $600. I then get PSA to grade it, and it says on the flip, it now says debut of the national anthem. Now it's $15,000. That's why I don't lose, because I know something that
He doesn't lose, Dan.
You don't. I don't lose. One more.
There is no collector in the world who ever says what Darren is saying. There's no collector of art, collector of books, collector of memorabilia, collector of stocks,
Bob Dylan?
purchaser
But
of
David,
stocks.
that's why he's the best.
So there. Overall, so there are things. So I went into the VHS category. I thought that sealed VHSs would be something big, and they weren't. And I lost in that category. So I spent $75,000 on VHSs, and it didn't turn out. But overall, on a day-to-day basis, I have outrageous returns. 50, 100, 200x returns.
Samson, what are you laughing about? We got to get out of here.
Do you want to see my Excel spreadsheet?
Yes.
That sounds like a party.
$75,000 on VHS.
David, punctuate the segment. What are you laughing about?
I'm laughing because if it were this easy, everyone would do it.
Everyone's
Darren,
not
keep
as
going.
smart as me.
That's right.
It's not.
You
It's not
started
easy.
A whole company on the hope that they are, though.
best.
Yep.
He's the winner.
Jerk off champion.
Yes.
Congrats on the jerk off.
Congratulations to Darren
Don't do that with your
Rovell,
hands, Darren. Yeah.
I know.
The champion
Ever
of
again.
all the jerk-offs.
All right, it's time for Thursday Thunder, presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Juju, take it away.
Great energy, my brother Roy. Great energy. I'm going to start off in the association tonight with my brother Stefan Castle. I think he will get over 13.5 points against your Phoenix Suns tonight.
Aggressive Thunder.
Next, I'm going to stay in the association and travel to the world champions, the Boston Celtics, your reigning world champions. Let me repeat that. Over on Derek White, 13.5 points. He will get over that tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers, who are strugglish, but strugglish. And then for the third leg, I'm going to stay with the world champion Boston Celtics and go with the hero, one of the best big men in the history of the entire world.
Thank you.
Al Horford.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yep.
You know what Stu got to say, if you have a team full of Al Horfords, you don't need anything else.
Right.
He will get over 5.5 points tonight, Daddy. We got to believe it. And the last leg.
Tell him, Juju.
Chris Cody.
Tell him.
I'm staying in the United States of America. Sir. I am being patriotic, you dig it? I'm taking USA, Team USA, in the Four Nation Cup Championship to beat Canada tonight. You got to dig it. Let's go, man. Screw Canadian bacon.
We have so many Kachucks.
I regret saying the thing I said about Al Horford.
It stays with you.
That if you have a team full of Al Horford, you have a championship team. No, you don't. If you have one Al Horford, he helps you win a championship. But a team full of Al Horfords, you need offense. I mean,
kick, save, and abuse.
Juju, what's some of the feedback you're getting on the show today?
Man, the show was magnificent today. Tony, bro, that was a good segment. The Don't Look segment, bro, I can't wait to hear more of that. You dig it? Salute all the way around the board. Also, we didn't get to mention Bobby Portis has been suspended 25 games for PED substances. You know what I mean? I'm neither here nor there. I keep my brother in my prayers. You dig it? Also, Jessica was right. You feel me? If the Heat were good, y'all would love the NBA. Y'all went through 20 pounds of Jimmy Butler, trade rumors, so much so that y'all was alienating the audience. But in the same breath, y'all be like, oh, but the NBA is uninteresting. Well, you got to choose one. Is it uninteresting? Let's stop the Jimmy talk. If it is interesting, let's full force ahead and love it. But neither here nor there.
Juju, I will say this, though. Talk about the NBA being interesting. I think this is probably the best MVP race that we've had maybe ever in the NBA. Between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and between Nikola Jokic. Like, that's the tightest race we've ever seen, probably.
Absolutely. I think they're going to probably do how they did a couple years ago because I think people got Jokic fatigue for some reason.
3 out of 4 years for Jokic.
Right. But I think that Jokic he definitely deserves it again, man, because I don't know, dog. What he doing with that team consecutive over the years. Now he got Russell Westbrook on the team. I think he deserves at least a co-MVP award, but you can't deny what Shai Gilgeous and them boys are doing in OKC.
Need to do it in the postseason, though, right? I mean,
that's the next step for them, though.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Juju, I see you repping the Browns right now. It seems like you're flying the flag of a different team every time I see you. How many favorite teams do you have? I'm just curious.
I only like the Eagles and the Bills when it comes to the National Football League.
Go Birds.
I just happen to have a lot of merch. You dig it?
Okay.
I support everybody.
Okay.
And I like the fact that they're rumored to be getting Shador, so I'm trying to show a little support. You dig
Nice.
it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Have you seen that story, Greg?
The Shador going to Cleveland?
Where he plays Madden football, but he only plays it with the Cleveland Browns. That's the only team he chooses, right?
I have not.
Yes.
That's a little
Crazy
hint there.
talk.
So everyone is speculating that he wants to go to Cleveland, right, Juju?
Right. And I speculate that it's a little bit of BS in there, but hey, you gotta fake it till you make it. You dig it?
You have polls for us?
Yes, sir. I got some polls. Can a goal be both gorgeous and should have been stopped at the same time?
Yes, it can. I believe
79% of the audience says yes, it can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, audience.
If you want to focus on the task at hand, can there be donuts around? 59% of the audience says no, there cannot be donuts.
All right. Fun show.
Big winners today. Yeah.
Right. Salute to Homer Simpson. Do people still associate Florida with oranges? 76% of the audience says yes, they do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a couple other people say they associate Florida with a couple other things, but we're neither here nor there.
Cocaine.
Garbanzo beans. Like them, don't like them. 54% of the audience says they don't like them, guys.
All right. I wanted a bigger number than that.
Here's a big poll today. Pause. Does Dan need a little in his life?
Yeah, he does. We all know he does.
Please come back, yes. Please come back.
That's got to be 100%, right?
91% of the audience says yes.
Wow.
My dog needs some.
How was that spelled in the poll? I'm just curious.
SHHHHLLLLLLLL PPPPPP.
Excellent. That's exactly how I would have spelled it. Perfect.
Hey, Canada, your ham is not bacon. 90% of the audience says yes.
Of course.
Go to hell, Canada, especially today.
Say hi to our Bryles.
Wow.
Do you like to fart? 88% of the audience says yes, they like to indulge.
Pet letters.
Does anyone have 400 friends? 91% of the audience says no. No one has 400 friends.
Yeah.
Dang it.
And 9% are lying.
Right.
You ain't lying.
Is crybaby redundant? Oh my goodness. Okay, I got to update this.
What happened?
Is crybaby redundant?
Okay.
This has never happened in the history of this show.
I don't believe
promise
you.
to God.
No way.
Do not believe you.
No.
50% of the
you dare.
audience says
No.
yes.
No.
50% of the audience
Wow.
says no.
Get out
A
of here.
first.
You gotta be kidding me. I
That's
can't
a
believe
first.
that, man. Come on.
I'm literally
History.
going to get out of here.
History has been made.
Man, and are you doing it wrong if you are burping the shit out of a baby? 55% of the audience says, yes, you are doing it wrong.
Split. Wow, split vote.
And the last poll, which is kind of like the earlier poll, do you like Poutine?
Yeah.
I guess it's a spelling on there. 64% of the audience says, yes, they like Poutine, but they do not like Canada.
How'd you spell that?
Back to you guys.
It's Poutine. Yeah, I thought it'd be higher. I mean.
Yeah, Poutine.
Okay, correct.
Excellent.
Very correct.
Hell yeah. But yeah, screw Canada for tonight. I'm all in on Team USA. Tonight.
Yeah, I broke my head.
Rocking my flag.
Let's go.
Listen, let's exit all chanting USA, okay?
USA!
USA! USA! USA! USA!
Let's go, States!
From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. You know, 2024 had its ups, had its downs, had a lot of moments in it. For me, many of those moments, I had a Miller Lite right there by my side. I supplemented my time by making it a Miller time. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Miller Lite has taste you know you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just a great beer for people who love beer. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and it has simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and that iconic golden color. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.